Fnatic, though, still undefeated, and someone who helped them stay undefeated was Febiven. He had a score of 11, 2, and 6 at the end of today's Nailbiter against Origin, and with that performance, he earned over 40 fantasy points, leading the European LCS for the day. I'd like the opinion of Crepo and Stress.
Fantastic play, just secure, and Febiven just sometimes shows up randomly. Like, he comes in and then, it's not randomly because he has always consistent performance, but then you lose track of him and then suddenly quarter kill. And that's facilitated by his teammates, of course, especially Yellowstar is so good at keeping him in the game, keeping him alive with honestly fantastic peel, but he's definitely a consistent mid laner, and he had a fantastic performance at MSI, and I just want to see what growth he has made towards Worlds.
Yeah, I think to kind of go on the back of that, when Fnatic do seem to have those rougher early games, Febiven seems to step up, and if you've got that player that can take it on himself with Yellowstar, that's a good sign for Fnatic.
Do you want to say anything?
I wasn't allowed to. No, I don't. I'm not going to get involved.
No.
Yes.
Anyway, while helping you win is nice, let's take a look at the 5 players that brought their team to victory this week. It seemed like we said 2 times the same thing. Anyway, first off is Power of Evil. The Unicorns of Love have a 2-0 week. We were questioning him a little bit coming into this, but he has shown some great performances this week.
He has. He's been having a good week, and he's so much of an integral part of the Unicorns' performance. But once on the Ezreal, didn't see it in the first day, saw you know, the Cogmore day 1, Ezreal day 2, but certainly has been looking very, very good this week.
He only has performed on poke so far, though.
Yeah, he also brought it in with the Varus, so it suits him very well, it seems. Our second OP player is Reckless from Fnatic, really stepping up as more of a carry, or a more visible carry in the last couple of weeks.
It certainly helps when the team builds an entire composition to let you carry, which we saw last week, which we saw this week. There's a lot of protection, and it's good they're relying on Reckless. They didn't need to at the beginning of the split, now they are at the end of the split.
Yeah, and Fnatic actually telegraphed that Juggerlista composition very early for the second time already, but it seems to work, and even if teams see it coming, they have no counter yet.
Yeah. And then our next OP player, also a Fnatic player, we mentioned him as fantasy leader, Febiven. He's just consistently good, and now he has 16 kills, which is the most kills this week as well. And then our, actually there's a bit of something.
The one thing I want to mention about Febiven, despite the fact that he's performing well and we've already praised him for fantasy, he's playing against a lot of very talented mid laners, and he's showing up on multiple champions in multiple styles. He doesn't always shine the brightest, but this is a kid that solo killed Faker multiple times and pushed SKT to 5 games. He's already international proven.
Yeah, Daylor actually said in one episode of Life of Legends, that I think it was Ispa, saying, well, he's the kind of kid that does get a little nervous. If this is with nerves, I wonder what it will be like on the world stage if he's completely comfortable. Our next OP player, though, is a player from Elements, Dexter. Although they went 1-1, I feel like he's one of the only players that in a loss and a win did incredible things on Evelyn yesterday in that loss as well.
I think it was Sean's earlier that was saying about how he's the metronome of Elements, and certainly he was consistent throughout the entire week this week, even in the loss as well. I'm glad to see Dexter using his experience, stepping up once again for Elements.
Yeah, it definitely dictates the tempo for Elements in these games. However, Elements as a team are still, the same weaknesses are still there, and they need to start evening out these games so Dexter can get them ahead instead of keeping them even. And at the same time, though, I have to commend him. Good performance from him. He's definitely a player that gets very emotional after losses, so I hope he takes it to it that he actually performed well this weekend. Hopefully for the next few weeks, Elements maybe can rise to the top again.
We will see, but our last OP player is another jungler. It's Kikis. His last game, as we heard from the announcement yesterday in the Unicorns of Love, what a way to close it out, is 2-0, so a nice goodbye. And we've seen it's actually a friendly goodbye as well in the team, but it will hurt them.
And as a goodbye from the commentary team, we will miss those scarves, Kikis. Just great player. And, you know, Kikis was a guy that I actually did not expect to perform particularly well in spring. I kind of felt a little shaky, maybe a little inconsistent, but as the splits have gone on, as the weeks have rolled on, he's pulled out some surprising picks. The Udyr, the Shaco come to mind. And when he's playing meta, it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely is for Kikis. I wish him all the best, of course. But we still have an MVP to crown in this one. And, well, it's very hard in weeks like this when a team like Fnatic is doing incredibly well, but you guys decided on someone. Yeah,
I know Crepo and I actually felt very strongly about this one, and we feel the MVP for Week 7 has to be Yellowstar. This is the man that put together a brand new Fnatic at the beginning of the year, and at Week 7 is undefeated, already guaranteeing the highest seed going into playoffs.
Yeah, and the coach is on a death set right here. You don't know what is going on inside the communication of Fnatic, so you don't know who is calling the shots. It's decision making, but many interviews, many players have said, okay, when we get behind, we just listen to Bora, who is Yellow Star. We listen to him, and he's the calm shot call. He has this wealth of experience. He has proven over the years that he's been with multiple teams, performing to varying degrees of how well he's playing, but he seems to be one of the only old pros that is still peaking. He's getting better and better at this game as time goes on, and that is just fantastic to see.
And not only did he help rebuild this team, bring in this foreign talent, an untested mid laner who had choked on LAN multiple times before playing in the LCS, his mechanical play in-game is still great. You could argue Reckless and Yellowstar are not the strongest 2v2. I don't care, because they make up for it so much in every other area of the game.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to see if a player does better than he usually does when you're so good, but coming back from, well, a huge deficit versus H2K, and then today as well, completely deserved. Well, as we come down to the wire, every game matters in the race for playoffs and Worlds qualification, so be sure to tune in next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central European Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, as Giants take to the Rift against H2K in our game of the week. Fantastic one at that. Well, the Copenhagen Wolves will also face Elements in the fight to stay out of auto relegation, and the Unicorns of Love will battle with SK Gaming. That game of the week is going to be fantastic in light of what happened this week, as well as all the other games. Well, just super interesting. 2 weeks left here, but in the meantime, be sure to catch the North American LCS as their playoff battle heats up as well. Week 7 starts this Saturday with Team Liquid versus TDK. Gravity will face Cloud9, and Team Impulse will take on Dignitas. Dash and the gang will bring their A game starting at 9 p.m. Central European Summertime. That is noon Pacific, so not too long to wait for a lot more league action. On this side of the Atlantic, though, we need to call it a night. I'd like to thank all the coaches that lent a hand on the analyst desk this week, and on behalf of myself, the European LCS team, thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here next week.